People often say Superman is boring when they learn I like him, and honestly, I get it, why they say that. We're discussing a character who crossed the universe instantly and lifted infinity. Basically, Superman has no limits because he's a character who was designed to be as powerful as the story needs him to be. Many people find this boring. What's interesting about a character who can do everything? This is especially true in most superhero stories, which focus on presenting such characters. Epic battles feature direct fights between the hero and villain, but many writers make the mistake of relying on this when crafting characters. They put him in stories where the question is, can the Man of Steel do something or not? Is he Superman? Of course he can. The interesting thing is to ask ourselves, should he? This is the question that I personally believe. The best Superman stories answer questions just like the comic set on Earth by Paul Dini, an extremely emotional comic where Superman, inspired by the holiday season, tries to tackle the problem of world hunger. However, he faces corrupt governments and divisive ideas along the way, realizing the problem is far more complex than he first believed. Maybe he took on a problem that's too big for one man, even a Superman. And that's the story I'm going to tell you in full today. This is a video I uploaded 6 years ago that was blocked, so I edited it and removed the copyrighted music. I'm sharing it again for the holiday season. Hope you enjoy. Let's begin.
I still think about the farm. I remember the creaking of the old mill, the smell of freshly cut hay, and the warm spring wind in my hair. Above all, I remember my father, patient and gentle, as we worked in the fields together. "Calm down," he would tell me. "Spread the seeds little by little, don't throw them all at once, let them fall evenly in the furrows and give them enough space, that's the way." He knew that not all the seeds would manage to sprout, but my dad wanted to give each one the chance to grow. He used to say the same thing about people. Some would bloom right away, while others needed a little more care. I feel I hear my father's voice more clearly at this time of year. Winter is coming and the new year is just around the corner. Families and friends gather to reaffirm old bonds, to remember loved ones who are no longer with us. Children whisper wishes, secrets, and faith in all its forms, and this brings joy to every heart. It's a time when people act with more compassion and kindness. And maybe, for a brief moment, we can see in each other a soul with whom we share the world. I've always felt inspired by the goodwill that spreads during this time of year. It also makes me want to share the tree. It's a simple, funny, old-fashioned gesture, but I've brought the tree for years. Honestly, I doubt anyone here enjoys it more than I do. I set up the tree. While the crowd applauds, I feel like a child again. With a swirl of color and bright lights, the holiday season has officially begun. Everyone wants me to stop and talk, but I've already spent too much time. The reporters push ahead, hoping for that perfect shot. I feel honored, but there are always more important matters that deserve my attention. They call me, but I keep going on my way. Then suddenly I hear a different sound, almost buried among the crowd. A cry for help, a cry of pain. At first I think she is unwell because of the shock, but then I notice how light she feels in my arms. So pale, so thin. This girl is starving, she needs food and a doctor, and I know where to find them. What about at the downtown asylum? Dr. Rebecca Mason is a friend who has spent most of her life working with people experiencing homelessness. She has seen many cases like this poor girl in my arms, yet she still feels compassion for one more case. Rebecca assures me the girl will be cared for and tells her team to bring food and set up another bed. The girl stays on my mind all night and even the next day. So I suggest to my editor that we do an article about homeless people during the holiday season. But the truth is that it's just an excuse to visit the girl and see how she's doing as I walk through the bright, bustling streets. Charles Dickens once described this time of year as a time when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices sadly. The first part of this phrase is often ignored, as if noticing the less fortunate among us somehow diminishes the happiness of the holidays. At the asylum, I ask about the girl. She was brought in by Superman. Dr. Mason tells me the girl's name is Jody, and that she ran away from her home in the south of the city. She expected better opportunities in Metropolis, but without work or friends, she ended up begging and nearly died of malnutrition. If it weren't for Superman, Rebecca says it's very sad that Superman can't be there for everyone. I agree with her. I missed the newspaper's Christmas party that night. It's so Clark Kent can go unnoticed in order to disappear if Superman is needed. Besides, I have other things on my mind, on my own. In the research department, I look for files with information about world hunger. I want to learn everything I can about its causes, effects, and possible solutions. In the blink of an eye, I read everything I can about the statistics. However, I look at the photos for quite a while. It's ironic. I never need to eat, I'll never know what it's like to be hungry, and I don't know what these people are feeling. I can't decide if this is a blessing or a curse. Then I remember my father as a farmer. He had a natural understanding of the earth. I remember how he used to tell me that this world is capable of providing for all creatures. Even now, with so many people, is there enough food for everyone? The problem, my dad used to say, is people. We've always had trouble sharing. It seems like we're always too busy, holding on to what we have, and we forget to see how our neighbors are doing. My dad used to say that we would need a very special individual with no hidden agenda to make us realize what the world has to offer. Someone who could set aside their own needs to help the greater good. I don't pretend to be that person, although I've always tried to be there for others. I see my powers as a gift, not for myself, but for everyone who needs them. Over the years, I've tried to help as many people as I could. It's not my place to dictate humanity's policies, but maybe if others see that I'm fighting against world hunger, they'll feel inspired to take action in their own way. It's certainly an example worth setting. Even though I regularly dislike speaking in public, I'm grateful that Congress has given me the opportunity to be heard. They agree, of course, that famine is a global concern and assure me that they are already doing everything in their power to help. I respectfully tell them that there is another way with the mature crops that are not harvested in abandoned fields or that end up being thrown away. The United States has more food than it can use, but not the means to transport it to those who need it. I ask you to allow me to take that surplus and let me distribute it to as many hungry people in the world as I can reach in a day. Naturally, there are doubts, concerns about expenses, and whispers about a personal agenda, but they are also intrigued. Some of them are even excited. Eventually, they give me their approval. I spend the next few days gathering the surplus crops. I'm not alone. When word spreads about what I'm doing, volunteers show up to help me pack the food. Other countries join in and open the doors of their granaries to me. I'm pleased to know that my message is spreading so quickly. This obviously doesn't go unnoticed by the press. They call me everything from a selfless hero to a misguided outsider. Some doubt my ability to do it, others think it's a hoax, and there are others who constantly ask for interviews and statements. All I tell them is that I'm doing the best I can and I keep doing it. Finally, my harvest is finished. The real work begins tomorrow.
Before we continue, do you want to go to a Superman-themed event just for Superman fans? On Saturday, December 13th, I'll attend an event at Cinedot, Azcapotzalco, Mexico City to watch James Gunn's Superman movie with friends. With a large popcorn, soda, and nachos, I'll then give my talk on the history of the Man of Steel. We'll finish with a meet and greet to chat, take photos, and connect with other Superman fans. New channel t-shirts will also be available if you're interested. It's meant to be an afternoon for Superman fans to gather. Hang out and have fun! Reserve your spot with the link in the video description. Act fast, spots are limited, and the date is soon. Hope to see you there. Now, back to the topic.
Winters in the American Southwest are bitterly cold. The old man has come from far away looking for food and fuel, but at this time of year, the desert has little to offer. From above, I hear him sigh as I collect firewood, then hear him pant. I tell him what I will tell many others today, that the food is for him and his people. All I ask in return is his help delivering the grains to those in need. The old man smiles at me and nods, and I wish him well as I hurry back to my route. I feel like this is a promising day. Afterward, I travel south to countries where wealth and poverty are starkly divided. The big city below is a painful reminder of this gap. From up here, it looks like a bright and beautiful gem. But looking closer, I see the favelas. Crowded neighborhoods where children bathe with drainage water. Families live in boxes and rats run openly through the street. It's very easy to look the other way, pretend the problem doesn't exist, or leave it for someone else to solve. But at least for today, they will see that one person didn't look the other way, that one person made the effort to act. And besides bringing them food for a day, he gave them a reason to keep feeling hope, to keep trying. Every minute I feel more certain that I made the right decision. However, in a country wounded by war in Europe, I wonder if there is still any hope left. People here have endured countless tragedies, with families destroyed, children crippled by landmines, and an ongoing bloody conflict that shows no sign of ending. They come slowly for the food and then withdraw, pale and silent like ghosts. A small child speaks, sees what I've brought him, then looks at me and asks, "Will you come back tomorrow?" I look away. Can I fly so fast, crossing the globe so many times to be able to keep my promise? It would be naive to think I can do this daily, and I shouldn't try. I know I'm just giving a day of relief to people who need it most. But maybe that's what's needed for the rest of the world to start thinking about a permanent solution. By noon I have returned to Africa, determined to reach every village and town. But the news of my arrival has spread, and many people fearing they might be left out have come to where I am. Everyone arrives at the village, some in vehicles, others on foot. With so many people moving across the land, I must stay alert. There is great potential for danger. A sour smell reaches my nose first, and then I see the smoke. There is a fire being spread by the strong winds. It will reach the village in minutes. The wind screams in my ears as I fly toward the flames, then scatters as other sounds emerge. Roaring sounds and thunderous footsteps, thousands of hearts pounding in fear. Afraid of the fire and eager to escape, will the animals stampede through the city, destroying everything? I won't allow it. The ditch scares the creatures and many move away. However, some of the larger ones need additional persuasion. I'm moving as quickly as I can, ensuring the animals stay safe and don't harm anyone. Afterward, I bring a water channel from a nearby lake to extinguish the fire, and the animals return home. But I've lost precious time and I still have thousands of miles to go. My next stop puts me face to face with a different kind of beast. As a reporter, I know this military despot very well, who through force and corruption has taken control of this country. He puts on a big welcome show, thanking me on behalf of the citizens. Really, he says we are blessed. Among those Superman favors today, his face is a mask of goodwill. The despot tells me they are ready to help me. In fact, he smiles as he says it. There's no reason for you to waste your time in my humble land. My troops and I will distribute the food. I know this man is a liar and a thief. He has built his regime on terror, plundering his country's resources and keeping his people scared and poor. If I give him the food, he'll keep it. He'll sell it anyway. He'll profit from it, and his people will starve. As respectfully as I can, I ask for permission to distribute the food myself. The despot then signals to his troops, and in an instant the rifles are loaded and ready to fire. They're not aiming at me, but at the souls on the other side of the river. The despot tells me that he is a reasonable man, but my attitude seems disrespectful to his authority and the laws of his country. He will not tolerate any external presence inciting his people to revolt, all with a smile on his lips. He assures me that it will be my fault if he is forced to impose martial law. I let him say whatever he wants, then I dare to challenge him. The despot shouts an order as his people run. 20 assault rifles fire. 200 bullets fly through the air. No one dies today. My eyes shine furiously, and every soldier drops his weapon, melting away. The despot lets me distribute the food and oversee the people as they eat, but he knows I eventually have to leave. He assures me that he has many more weapons and asks me to make the decision that will ultimately save more lives. So I leave the food exactly where I dropped it. The day goes on, and everywhere I stop, I see hunger and poverty. Sometimes it's the result of circumstance, but more often it's the product of man's cruelty. Oppression breeds a kind of spiritual hunger on its own. In many places, people look at me furtively through the cracks in their doors, not realizing that I can see their desperate faces inside. I leave food on empty streets and the rats take advantage. They'll eat well today. In other countries, I am rejected and seen as a political activist, an usurper or a fraud. They don't want me here despite the gift I bring them. Or who could I help? Their stones break when they hit me or bounce off without hurting me, but each one of them still hurts. I visit many places where hunger has stripped people of their identity and they struggle to keep order. While a sea of faceless hands rushes to meet me, the tearing of their fingers barely registers on my skin. I hear the panting of their lungs, the frantic beating of their hearts. It was never my intention to turn human beings into a desperate and irrational crowd. I try to push gently, but the crowd surges forward, engulfing me like a human wave. If I stay, they'll tear each other apart to get the food, so a quick exit is my best option. The hungry people don't even notice that I'm leaving. The day is almost over, and the more I see, the more I feel like I've only just begun. The government of a country that really needs me denies me permission to land. I continue to descend, even though the leaders announce that the well-being of their citizens is none of my business. Moreover, they warn that my intrusion into their airspace constitutes an act of war. I hear the missile before I see it. The load I'm carrying makes dodging in time impossible. There's a flash of heat, a roar of noise, and the fury of a violent storm that seems to tear through me. Then I notice another sensation, the sharp scent of poison. I react instinctively, creating a vortex that disperses the gas before it can spread. The soldiers who launched that missile knew neither the explosion nor the poison would kill me, but that was never their goal. Afraid of the influence of a stranger and determined to keep their people independent, the leaders of their country did the only thing they could to stop me. They poisoned the grain, now charred and toxic, running through my fingers. My mission ends here, incomplete and in failure. Hours later, I still see the ruined grain in my hands. Even alone in my apartment, I can't fully distance myself from the world. I hear the voices of those I helped, praising me for having tried. I see headlines commenting on the good and bad effects of my mission. Above all, I feel the disappointment of the millions who still look up to the sky. Knowing in their hearts that I won't really come, I thought I was going to succeed. Knowing what I know about human nature, why did I think everyone would accept what I had to give? Although now that I think about it, maybe it wasn't the right gift. The cold night air fills my lungs and clears my mind. Every newspaper and channel wants some kind of statement from Superman. It's time for me to say something. To everyone's surprise except mine, it's Clark Kent who gets the interview. As everyone knows, I've always tried to provide relief to those in need, pain, and fear. Many times I've considered taking stronger actions to help the world, but I've realized that such actions could be short-term or even disastrous. I tried to relieve world hunger, but I encountered a heartbreaking poverty, not only in poor neighborhoods and deserts, but also in the selfishness within the souls of men. Do you see now that taking on that responsibility was too ambitious for one man, even for a Superman? The well-being of the world and all its people will always be my greatest concern. But if there is a solution to the problem of hunger, it must come from man's compassion, which extends toward his fellow man. There is an old saying, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach him to fish and he will eat for a lifetime. This simple message asks humanity to nourish with knowledge, to reach out to those in need and to inspire others to do the same. That is the greatest need in life and the most precious gift. I ask everyone to share what they have with those in need. Your knowledge, your time, your generosity. Especially with young people, because in them lies the future and the hope of truly having peace on earth. When I feel the warm spring wind in my hair again, I try to follow my own advice. Patiently and gently, I share with others the way to spread the seeds, a few at a time, evenly between the furrows, so that each one has enough space. I tell them that not all the seeds will make it, but each one deserves the chance to grow.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to join the Synodot event, reserve your spot using the link in the description. I'd love to see you there. That's all for now. I'm Go the Geek Monitor. Keep looking beyond the obvious.